Oh, cool. Yeah, we're back. Speaking to Tancred. After what happened to our elephant friend in the tower. Go and rescue them. Surely. First, we must inform everyone of the situation. Hannah's colleagues included. I'll call them together for a gathering, but I think it would be best if you want to explain. Oh, Nitana. And asked me that the Nitanos trapped in the tower, still alive yet. Then we must make warding scales, as many as we can. Prototype works perfectly. This Nitana proved at peril to herself. Let us make more scales, that she and all those who were taken might be saved. Aye, as alchemists, this is how we will help win the fight. My friends, Star Trap has been made aware of the tragedy. He offers heartfelt condolences, reiterates his pledge to provide you all that you require. To that end, he bade give you this link pearl, that you might personally discuss the production of warding scales with. And for our Eorzean visit, there an invitation. In her report, Mistress Garner noted your vital contributions to the talisman's creation. This fact came to the satrap's attention, and in recognition of your deeds, wishes to meet. In addition to thanking you in person, he would also discuss further avenues of collaboration. And so, if it is agreeable, you must accompany me to Rats Atan for an audience with excellence. Should be honoured, of course. Closer cooperation between our lands can only be to the benefit of all. And it is settled. Please come to the gates east of the giant school grounds. I will show you into Ooh. Go meet the satrap. Actually, before we do that, I think there was another key mission to allow me to fly as well. But there first. What are the feet? Yeah. Why the Atanka everywhere? Has this town fallen? Ah, your face. It is known to me. You were the warrior who fought for the mole in Nadam. I am Ogul of the Campania. It was your bravery and skill which inspired me to embark upon my own hero's journey. Yet now I've foolishly blundered into a den of Magtanga. Why do these others walk without fear? They do not care if they are slaughtered. I do not doubt your word, but grandmother would always warn me. If you encounter a Magtanga, turn tail and flee as fast as you and far as you can. Their tails were awful, bloody, so now very sight of them, its terror rises unbidden. Now I cannot stay here. I must earn enough coin to buy passage from this nightmare island as soon as possible. I beg of you, stay at my side for a time. Just until I meet with the Kankana person sailors told me about. She said to have work that pays a fair wage, so I will see what she has for me. Excuse me. By the Dusk Mother, Naomi told me Kasana was a Matanga. I ask you to speak with her in my stead. Welcome to Yidlimar, Kapla. I am Kasama. My job to assign the right work to the right workers. Might I have your name? Nima and Ogul, was it? Let me jot those down. Oh, grandmother, why? Why does it have to be Matanga? The companion quite right. Ah, an understandable reaction. The Jesura tribe have done much to stain the reputation of our people. You're looking for work, but yes. Many have been forced to take what they can get since troubles began. I'm afraid all the simple jobs are gone. That's what's left. I only have tasks fit for seasoned fighters. That sound nice to do? Fighting, yes. I can fight. Lest you doubt, my skill is likened to that of the Dragonbane, legendary Aka Zor herself. I'm not unfamiliar with the name, but you sound formidable indeed. Why don't we start you out on an escort? A group of artisans set off to harvest materials, and asked that I send any prospective protectors their way should I happen to enlist any. What they already set off, is our duty not to escort them. There's to be a ritual dance performed in the Kajia's footsteps. They'll need incense and costumes for dances and such. The entire thing was decided rather suddenly, so there was no time to wait. And these artisans you speak of, do they also include Matanga in their number? It was the Arcasadora submitted the request. I hope that won't be a problem. No, not at all. I look forward to fainting at the feet of my most feared enemy. Nima, I cannot do this alone. Pray lend me your strength of the victor of the Nadam, and half the reward for this task will be yours. The artisans don't plan to venture far. Leave Yedamad to the west, and you should soon come across your employer. Then that is where we shall meet. You'll find me there, yes. Oh. Ah, you must be our belated escort, yes? Glad to have such courageous... is your companion not well? She seems to be a touch shaky. Of course. I should have thought of it before. I shall harvest the necessary ingredients while the artisan stays here. That way I've no need to fear him being harmed. Perfect. I must say, this is less than ideal. My people are already scratched as wilds. I wanted someone to roam around and ensure they were safe from attack. Your friend perhaps frightened by the Arcasadora. I have met such travellers before. Well, no matter. If you could patrol the area, as I asked, and to my own harvesting. You must think me foolish. I was so absorbed in my task that I failed to notice the ground shaking at their approach. Still, my injuries are light and my satchel is full. Thanks to you, I think I can make it back to town in time to meet the others. What happened? Slay the beast. That was a near thing. Took the first one by surprise, but the second... Then the Matanga stood at my back. Mind froze, my body refused to obey. Grandmother taught that let fear wash over us like water. My shame could not have failed her more thoroughly. Not to sound ungrateful, Nick, but why did you follow me? We're to patrol. Forgive me. Should have waited for orders instead of running off alone and putting lives in. Come, we should return to our employer. I want to be sure that the wounded man reached safety. My colleague told me of this rescue. Although we had hoped for an escort from the start, imagine if you hadn't come at all. I've sent him and the others back to our workshop, so consider your duty with us complete. You have my thanks. As for your payment, that you can collect from Katana. Right, suppose we support to Katana then. Ah, there you are. Your employer expressed satisfaction with your work, so congratulations. Job well done. As a response to the recent chaos, the upcoming ritual was hastily planned, to say the least. As a consequence, the artisans are pressed. When times are hard, people of Fafnir rely on such traditions to their faith and bolster their hearts with the teachings of the divine. The death of an artisan would have thrown the whole thing into disarray, and thus your rescue was timely indeed. Please accept your payment, half each, as agreed upon. Are you interested in further work? I may have something for you if so. Nope. We are back on the MSQ, boys. All present, then let's owing to the threat of the tower, the city is currently in a state of fire alert, and strict restrictions are in place for entry. Though you have been granted special, I ask that you be close to me. Him.
A vast rock squats upon Favnir, and to its stony surface clings the city of Rads-at-Han. Ye who enter here are subject to the scrutiny of gods, the gate's most watchful eye. The orb which beholdeth the truth of all things. Pass beneath its hot and piercing gaze, bearing down like a second midday sun. The fragrant haze, a mixture of sweet incense and acrid smoke. The cries of merchants mingled here with lively melodies accented by dancers' feet. Travelers seduced by vivid sound and colors were once swallowed up by patchwork.
This place is a lot. I like this place.
But no such scenes to savor now. To what somber present does that divine eye bear witness?
Here we are, Megadota. It seems a shame to bring you here directly. Under normal circumstances, it would have been my pleasure to show you the sights.
And maybe another time.
And it would have been our pleasure to see them. Alas, it seems our tour of the city will have to wait.
Yeah.
I'm afraid so. Come, we should head inside. Your Excellency, may I present our honored visitors?
Ah, splendid. Most splendid. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Ahawan, satrap of Rads-at-Han. Our alchemists tell me your assistance was invaluable in the creation of the warding scale. Such deeds ought to be recognized in person. Thus did I have young Varshan convey you here forthwith. On behalf of my people, may I express to you our sincere gratitude. A regrettable incident indeed. Her colleagues insist that we honor her wishes and trust in the talisman, that it will be instrumental in saving Nadana and the others. I am eager to hear your opinion on the matter, so let us not stand on ceremony. Come, sit.
I think not. This charade has gone on long enough. Show yourself.
Hey, what do you know, Estinian?
Forgive me, but were you expecting musicians, perhaps? There are no performers waiting in the wings at present, but arrangements could be made if you'd prefer.
Yeah, what are you onto, Estinian?
Nay, he hath the right of it. The time for artifice is past. Raise the curtain.
As you wish.
Eh?
You travel as assistants to the students of Valdesian, but you are known to me. Even here have we heard of the scions of the Seventh Dawn.
Whoa!
I am Vritra, and for years uncounted hath this isle served as mine abode.
This is the dragon that Estinian was riding on in the trailer. Oh, and you must have sensed the blood of him and things because he's got that connection to Nidhogg.
Vritra, of the first brood, sibling to Hraesvelga and Nidhogg.
Aye, mine elder brothers, of Midgard's spawn. I was last to hatch.
Well, isn't this a surprise? We were told Radzat Han had an alliance with a dragon. Not that a great worm sat in a satrap's own hall.
A necessary subterfuge, as the true tale of our nation history illustrates most effectively. In the beginning, the rock upon which our city is built was home to Vitra, and Vitra alone. In time, the ancestors of the Matanga came to the island and established a foothold. But never did they dare disturb the worm's lair. Next to arrive were the Aura. Adopting the example of their Akasodra allies, they too treated Vitra with reverence and respect. And for many years, an understanding between our forefathers and the Great Worm endured. Until marauding heroes from the mainland came, threatening to shatter our peace and tranquility. When it seemed all would be drowned in blood, Vitra himself came forth and quelled the rising conflict. A peaceful accord was reached, and oaths sworn in Vitra's name. Thus began the dragon's governance of the fledgling state, which was to grow into Radzat Han.
But if Vritra is still here, then your position as satrap is just...
A charade, yes. And one which my family has performed faithfully for generations.
Many envy the great worms their power. Were it known that I ruled here, then the fires of war would burn without end. I would not be the flame which consumeth my people. Those few who joined me in laying our country's foundations were, perforce, sworn to secrecy.
Your eye. It was taken.
'Tis here, buried within the semblance of flesh.
Hi.
The body before thee is but a simulacrum, constructed by the finest artisans of Razatan. With mine eye nestled within, it doth serve as an inconspicuous vessel from
Oh,
within.
wow.
That would explain why I felt the presence of a dragon upon our first meeting.
I am woven with words fashioned to deceive such arcane senses. Though 'twas short-lived, it seemeth thy fusion with my brother hath left thee much altered. Estinian warm blood. From the very first, we sensed the nature of one another. Yet did neither one of us bare his fangs. That is all I need know of thee for now.
With my secret thus revealed, I have for you a proposal. Not as a worm of the first brood, but as the ruler of Rad's Ada. With all haste must we take in hand the finished talismans and breach this foul spire. Thence, should it lay within our power, dispel its wicked influence, yet even with the assurance of the warding scales, the narrow confines of the tower doth limit the size of our floors.
And thus denied strength in numbers, thou must choose thy soldiers with care.
Just so. Yet though our radiant host is formidable, I see a surer path before me. Thou and thy comrades have contended with a multitude of primal beings. Most recently, thou didst cast down false gods in Pagalthan and Cartanau, I am told. 'Tis upon that strength I would call. The Scions have proven themselves the most capable, and I ask that you serve as the tip of our spear. Talismans would, of course, be provided for each of thy companions, and should you agree to this undertaking, more will be provided to make use of as you see fit.
There's no denying it's a dangerous proposition, but the rewards may far outweigh the risk. Just think of what we might accomplish if we could equip all our allies with warding scales. I worry, however, that even the four of us may be too few for what you have in mind. Might we regroup with our friends first to discuss the matter?
'Tis no trifling task that I have laid before you. Go. Steel your hearts and hone your plans. Such time as you require shall be spent in crafting your protective charms.
It seems a quick trip back to Charlian is in order.
Wilt thou not lend thine aid?
Whether your request be made as a great worm or the ruler of Radzat-Han, I see no reason to refuse, nor will I.
I am in thy debt.
That meeting took a rather unexpected turn, but now we have a clear objective ahead. Join our comrades in Charlian and muster a suitable crew for our foray into Tower of... Oh, and if you haven't already done so, be sure to attune to the Aetherite here before departing, unless of course you enjoy violent nausea. Beg pardon, good madam. I could scarce help but notice that sightseeing log on your person. Wouldn't happen to be a venture in my niche range. Ah, sightseeing. So this is the one for sightseeing. Ah, so it is you. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Yeah. Come on, give me my new sightseeing log. Yeah. Right, I saw some people doing some sightseeing logs here somewhere. How are people level 9? Ah. Just as I was getting used to the balmy Fafnir, we're back at Chilly Charlian. Take care not to catch your death, eh? Teach you for the battles to come. Now then, everyone appears to be here, so let us take stock of all the developments and discoveries. Since there has been progress in both investigations, shall we share the findings from our respective locales?
Your time in Fafnir has certainly been eventful. In my opinion, carrying out Vitra's request and assaulting the Tower of Zot should be our highest priority.
I agree. While I still have questions concerning the Forum and their grand undertaking, we have all but exhausted our avenues of investigation. Simply pressing them any harder on the subject will almost certainly result in our expulsion. Therefore, I suggest we explore the ethereal sea connection by way of a letter to Master Matoya, then make our way to Fafnir.
I wonder, even with the protection these talismans afford us, what can we hope to achieve once inside the tower? According to Orenvold and Fodola's report, they were unable to free the Emulger. Worse, their attempts triggered the tower's defenses, which led to a summoning of Luna Afrit.
What does it tell us that the Spires even have such defenses? Simply pulling a prisoner from the wall is fatal, thus the direct approach is doomed to failure from the outset. Any further measures to dissuade such actions seem unnecessary. Unless, of course, there is a way to free the prisoners without killing them. Then it stands to reason that any intruders will be met with overwhelming force.
The towers appeared throughout the world in but the twinkling of an eye. 'Twas by magical means these structures were raised, I surmise. A spire thus conjured must needs be maintained. And I suspect an arcane catalyst, some manner of core, doth lie hidden within. Destroy the core, and the tower ceaseth to be, thus liberating the captives without harm.
So we can hope. And I would prefer to enter the tower with a working theory than with no plan at all.
Assuming Astronomy's reasoning is correct, the chances of the defenses remaining dormant are small to none. Any primals will have to be dealt with, and defeating one will likely only lead to the summoning of another. Our every victory will only compound the prisoner's suffering.
May we not then divide our forces? Those proficient in healing will focus on sustaining the captives. That duty can be covered by Urianger, Kryl, Yostola, and myself. The remaining scions will proceed with the search for the core. Admittedly, this strategy puts both parties at greater risk, but it should bolster our chances of saving the Arcosodra by a considerable margin.
Yeah, shouldn't Alpha Node should be in their group, surely.
If you're to fight Shriners, then you'd best have at least one healer with you.
Fair point.
And I am more than happy to fulfill that role. I found wielding a sage's armament to be rather intuitive, and look forward to testing them against a more challenging foe.
It seems we have a plan. All that remains is to carry it out. I will inform Radzat-Han of our movements, so let us make our preparations and regroup near the tower.
A military post in what's left of the Hamsa hatchery should serve as a convenient staging.
That sounds perfect. And remember, the experimental aetherite at the confluence is there for those who need it, so there's no excuse for being late.
Let's go, Scions! I'm guessing this will be the first duty. Level 81 duty. Back. Sorry, excuse me. Ah, our friend of Eorzea. Expecting you. You and Jaws will lead to the mission. Power, I'm told. Boarding scales will be delivered soon. Till then, please stand by at the boat we have readied. When your fellows arrive, I will direct them to join you. Pray for your safety and Ugh. If this is the future of Aetherite travel, I think I'll stick to boats. No warning, however emphatic, have prepared me for that. On account of which we're a little late, but fighting fit most. My friends, permit me to thank you for accepting this mission. You must be, we should still call you Vashan, I suppose. Indeed, it would not do to confuse our soldiers. Very well then. For our part, we are humbled that you should see fit to entrust us with your warding scales. Please convey as much to His Excellency. One for each of you, please accept them with my blessings. Our thanks. With these we could go anywhere those with the blessing of lights can go. Not only for this operation either, but all the ones to come, we can finally break your monopoly on primals. Oh, that's the logic to get them in the trust system for primals. In that case, they're all yours from now on. Ah, but I'm afraid we can't let you retire just yet. You're the Science's brightest star, after all. If everyone is amenable to it, let us review the strategy for good measure. As previously agreed, we will divide into Hema and her band will break through the tower's defenses and locate its core. Meanwhile, the rest of us will tend to the prisoners, who will doubtless want to be due to the duress of repeated summonings. Primals which the tower bringeth forth shall be deities of Thafnarian. As we have no prior experience with such foes, pray exercise the utmost caution when confronting them. Commence the operation in actual words, my friend. People of Favnir, nay, the entire world, you must prevail. Go! Yeah, it's our first duty.
Right then.
Let's go. Power Rangers. boss number 1. Ah, this is their primal. This is their... Okay. Right. Crit. Stop. Dude, this dude. Okay. Right. I don't know why I thought that was mechanics. That one. Let's try that again. Ew, what's that? And a duff claw. Right. And Gruvar, you're mine. Oops. Yeah. Maybe next time. Ah, no, I got frozen. I'm not supposed to hit her. Ah, so it's the one that's not doing a pose. Okay. Oh, we're near the top. Up the tower, dip to the top. Oh wait, no, we're not. We're nowhere near. Oh no, we are at the top. No matter what the cost, we must protect the town. Right, cost number one. Let's do. What? we've done it. Oh, have we done it? Oh no, we actually. Oh, god damn it. Okay. I didn't realise. Whoa. Okay. Right. Doing okay. What's that? Might hurt. On it. Woohoo! Dungeon 1 down.
Is everyone all right?
We fortified the captives with what magics we could. Have the defenses been disabled? All appears quiet for the moment.
The lower floors were disturbing enough, but this place feels wrong. The ether is heavy and thick, like wading through a quagmire.
I believe we stand in the tower's beating heart. What sayest thou, Stola?
I see it. Ether siphoned from the land runs up through the spire, flowing to a single point. This is the core we seek. Yet something is off. As large as this structure is, it siphons far more ether than is required to sustain it. 'Tis as if the core is feeding on the energy, consuming it. I need to take a closer look. Curious. There is something there embedded inside the core.
What?
A man's limb.
What?
This is what we came to destroy?
Yes, if you would be so kind.
And that should be the end of it.
Don't say that, Alpha Nerd.
What now?
My theory that the tower might come crashing down following the core's destruction doth appear to be correct.
I want to have mentioned that earlier, Oriante.
How are we supposed to survive the fall?
What of the prisoners below?
The floor beneath our very feet dissolves. Brace yourselves!
I pray I'm not too late.
Oh, that's one Graha.
Oh, what happened? Where are we?
By my reckoning, we're still on the island where the tower stood. But 'tis as if it never existed. Hardly a scratch. But how?
Raha wove a levitation spell at the last moment. Large enough to catch everyone, it would seem.
Nice one, Graha. Let us down.
That explains the lack of obvious injuries.
The expenditure of so much ether has taken its toll. He will need plenty of rest, but should otherwise be none the worse for wear.
Then the immediate problem is what to do with our new friends here. They'll be much changed for their time in the tower. Even if their bodies are intact, I doubt we could say the same for their minds.
Angelo and I will take care of that.
Do a memory wipe.
I have every faith in you, Alize, but there are just too many for you to treat alone.
We'll send at once to Eorzea for more Porksies, and call on the local mages to lend a hand.
Hail, Scions! We were watching the tower when it simply disappeared. What happened here?
The threat is banished, and thy people delivered. They are, however, in need of treatment, and we of a secure locale and helping hands to assist us in its provision.
You shall have all this and more. Come, let us convey these unfortunate souls to the city.
Liberated prisoners. Alice and your Stola will oversee the implementation of the tempering treatment. Support from those who know us healers. Go and join them in the city once you've had a moment to catch your breath. Had enough rest, have you? Never were one for being idle. Right, Ashtan, lead us. Or earliest convenient. The others will drop there once you end into the... Ah, wait, on second thought. Go on ahead. Make a quick deed. By the great. Left Grahar in the alchemist's cage, you see. Best to fetch him before he's crammed into a specimen job. Just you and me then. Carlsman at the gate should wave us. Ah, honoured Scions, you have enter actual. I cannot leave my post. I'm afraid you must make your own. Fire directions in the city. Sentry stationed at the fountain atop the steps should be to whistle. Though I have been ransacked before, this place is veritable. Rather than risk getting lost, better ask for directions for the sentry at the way, and don't expect me to act as your guide. Certain others. Finny is now accompanied. Ah, Mistress Nima, I understand you are here. Backtrack. Fire directions. Add to. Satraps. Armor. Highest part. To get there, I would ordinarily recommend a route or city. Due to the state of alert, however, currently closed and right. As such, I will provide you with. First, please ascend the steps next to the mountain. Left. There will be more steps, and upon ascending them, you will emerge. Proceed through the large door on the right into a covert of fibers. Then find another sentry. Further guide. In other words, we head up. Sounds straightforward enough. Get into Moooooooon, are you? In that case, go this hall. Merge at the end. Landing. Instantly, descend the steps to the other side. Fibers. Though you're free to observe the art. Dare not to lose. Ah, the varying. Hard to imagine more partial to the gold thread. And the blue, of course. I've put much thought into what I. Best set of clothing and shoes I carry. That isn't enough. Personal door gets the sound. And to be onto the getting cast. Ah. Oh, did I? Process, didn't he? Ah. You're here for an airship. I'm afraid all flights have been suspended until further notice. So, the state of alert is still in effect. Perhaps it's for... That aside, we're not here for an airship. We have business at the Moooooooon. Oh, in that case, direct you. It's quite simple, really. Send these steps. I remember passing by here with Bashan. Situation as it was, he regretted not being able to show us the site. Life has yet to return. Though the city is confused, quite good. Partial to hand. Surprising, faithful. Bark. Leaves it as it is. Pain was flat. I'm lost. Out. Greetings, welcome to me. May I inquire after your business? Members of the Science of the Seventh Door. Come at the invitation. Of course. Go to the audience check.
Are we the last to arrive? I hope we've not kept you waiting.
Not at all. Your comrade is feeling better, I trust.
Much better, thank you. Harness remedies are certainly potent, in more ways than one.
One becomes accustomed to the taste, although I hope you never have cause to do so. Pray, take your ease.
Full glad I am to see you all unharmed.
Valiant scions, for your heroism, you have my boundless gratitude. You cast down that dire tower and set free its hapless captives. You cleanse their souls. No words of thanks will suffice. In place of platitudes, I offer a bounty of warding scales. Pray accept your due reward, along with the goodwill of Radzathan.
Alchemists throughout the land were put to work in the forging of your talismans. The finished ones have been collected, and now await you at the High Crucible of Alchemia. Present this letter when you are ready to take them into your possession.
We are humbled by your generosity. Know that the inventive wisdom of Radzathan will be vital in restoring serenity to our star.
Every single one of those scales came from you, didn't they? You must still be in such pain.
Oh, damn.
'Tis of no moment. A mere annoyance compared to the dreadful suffering inflicted upon this land and its people.
Albeit brief, my involvement in the Dragonsong War afforded me a glimpse of the myriad sorrows which consumed both dragon and man. Though you were half a world away, such tragedies as befell your kin must have affected you deeply. And yet, you chose to live among men.
In the age when that conflict first bloomed, my choice had already been made. In some distant place, man slew dragon, and dragon slaughtered man. Yet no hate could I muster for those smiling faces which did look to me for guidance. Not even my brother's righteous rage could rally me to his cause. I huddled here, secret and still, hoping against hope that which I had built would remain untouched by the chaos and carnage.
'Twould seem we share the same desire for peace, great Vritra. To that end, I wonder if we might trouble you with another question. The Telophoroi are intent on recreating the final days, an apocalyptic event which we know to predate the sundering of the star. As the longest lived among us, know you aught of this terrible cataclysm?
Nay, When war and strife drove my sire from his home, he crossed the great expanse with only our unhatched eggs as company. He alighted upon a shattered source, its 13 reflections long since scattered beyond the rift.
Worth a try, Solar, but...
Of events preceding his arrival, he knoweth naught, save that which Hydralin hath deigned to disclose.
I see. So again, 'tis the inscrutable Hydralin to whom we must look for answers.
Seek you to divine the will of this star? If so, I have a tale which may afford you some small comfort. 'Tis a story from my youth, many, many years ago. To my sire, I once posed the question, of all the stars in the sky, why didst thou settle upon this one? To which Midgardsummer did reply, 'twas the last bastion of hope. He believed, so long as Hydralin endured, so too might dragonkind. Solemn and portentous were his words. What deeper meaning they held, I could not, dared not pursue. 'Tis a stone I've left unturned ever since. Yet take you solace in the knowledge that whatsoever Hydralin does strive towards, 'tis an ideal which hath earned my sire's conviction.
Thank you, Vritra. You've given us warm reassurance in a world gripped by cold uncertainty.
While I'm sure we all have a great many questions, I think it's time we collect the talismans and be on our way. Our fight against the Telophoroi is far from finished.
We must take our leave, but please do inform us if we can provide any further assistance.
Prithee, a moment. There is one whom my sire hath judged worthy of honor and respect. The one known to men as Eorzea's champion. This hero of renown and rumor, 'tis thee. I know of his clash with Omega, and the long slumber which was his price. Yet even closed in sleep, my father's eyes are far from blind. He is watching over thee, watching over this world. 'Twas a revelation most pleasing that thou, a child of man, had gained Midgardsummer's trust. But alongside mine elation runneth a rivulet of dread. For upon thy life's reel wind too many threads of fate, power, wheel enmeshed with woe. Amidst this tangled knot thou shalt know no rest. 'Tis an endless confluence of forces, a struggle without surcease. More terrible still is the attrition wrought upon thy companions, as they are swept up in the storm of thine existence.
This. Oh, why? Ah, all people.
Take heart and protect them well. They will be your strength and your salvation. The hope thou wilt need come the end. Even cowering behind my curtain, I know the suffering of the powerful. I have watched my siblings driven mad by loss. Thus do I exhort thee to spare no effort to keep thy loved ones safe.
Apologies. We hadn't meant to interrupt.
It's just that we do have a history of suddenly collapsing, and when you didn't follow us out...
Tis I who must apologize. I have detained your champion overlong with idle chatter. Go. At war's end, I pray I welcome thee back into my hall, where together with thy joyful comrades, you may toast your triumph.
So, what? Nothing. Very well, if you say. That was gone ahead to the High Crucible. Pendant was kind enough to give directions to the High Crucible. First, let us return to Mulberry. From here, we're supposed to follow the path left and pass the mulberries. Where the street turns, enter the door, then thought the Crystarium was confused, but it doesn't compare to a rat set. The architecture and decoration hard to get bearings. Wait, let's see where this door. Here is the Aetherite. Over to go. Across to the other side of the hall, pass through the lock. High Crucible. I suspect the others have already collected the warding scale. Come, let us join them. Last, of course, but at least we found the place.
These are the talismans we were promised.
Yes, and I made a quick count. There are far more than we could have hoped for. Enough to outfit an entire company of soldiers, in fact. Considering the involved process, that they were able to manufacture so many in such a short span of time is nothing short of a miracle.
Look.
Once we have distributed them to our allies in Eorzea and the Far East, we'll have a fighting chance to bring down the other spires, just as we did with the Tower of Zot.
Or we could use them to invade Garlemald proper, and strike directly at the Telophoroid's base of operations. Of course, we would need to consult with various Alliance leaders before such a drastic measure could even be contemplated. To which end, I could set out forthwith and present the idea to each of our allies in person.
Pray allow me to undertake some few of those journeys. I find myself restless and in need of purposeful duties.
I can head eastward. Bosnia and Dalmasca are just a short hop from here. And Doma's shinobi network should come in handy for passing on the word.
We shall share the burden then. Meanwhile, I think it best that you and the others take the talismans back to the Baldessian Annex. We must keep them safe and secure until we've decided upon a course of action.
Please, I must speak with you.
Nidana, you're awake.
Yes. When I spoke with the carer at my bedside, she told me that one of the scions, a young woman, had cleansed me of the tower's corruption. It seems I'd been asleep ever since the treatment. But when I awoke and learned you were all still here, I knew I had to come.
As you said, Nidana was captured only recently. Such a brief exposure is swiftly cured, so I tended to her before we gathered at Megaduta.
And I am truly grateful that you did. I cannot thank you enough. All of you, for everything you've done. Destroying the tower, rescuing our people. You've saved Havnair from an awful fate.
Yet who hath truly saved whom? Due in no small part to thine inspirational courage, the alchemists were successful in reproducing warding scales of proven efficacy. Replications of thy work now stand ready to travel across the seas, unto the hands of those who might wield them against this rising evil.
The talisman? I was so groggy from sleep, I didn't even think to ask. Oh, our great work sent across the seas. It was worth it. Oh, it was all worth it.
Look at that. Its color is completely changed.
What do you have there? How unusual. I wonder if the effect is a reaction to Akasha.
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that term.
Akasha? It is one of the unseen energies defined by Harnish alchemical theory. Though a gross oversimplification, some describe it as an essence influenced by feelings.
You imply that it is distinct from ether?
Foreign scholars often conflate the two, but we see them as separate concepts. Ether is an energy which permeates the land. It exists within animals, objects, even the air we breathe, affecting all through which it flows. Akasha, on the other hand, exists in a domain beyond our reach. A gift bestowed from on high, or torn from the heavens in some traditions. Akasha can neither be created nor destroyed. It is beyond our power to purposefully alter or manipulate. The only thing observed to influence it is an abundance of, I want to say, spiritual emotion. As a veteran of the battlefield, surely you've experienced moments of desperation or exaltation when you've transcended the usual limits of your capabilities. That is a manifestation of Akasha, the invisible essence harnessed by heart, mind, and unyielding spirit.
I really must hear more about this theory. Our disciplines are based entirely upon the idea that ether is the fundamental form of all energy.
I'm glad my haphazard explanation has piqued your interest. But even for us, Akasha is a somewhat abstract field of study. A lack of practical application lends itself poorly to formalized research. Which is why my analysis of your flower can amount to little more than idle speculation. I am sorry.
Nonsense! You have nothing to be sorry for. Your insight is much appreciated.
Shall we depart for Charlian then? I will see to it that the talismans arrive at the Annex.
And we will be in touch once our talks are concluded. I suggest you rest while you can. From here onward, sleep is bound to be in short supply.
Ooh. Back and with our labour's sake. Now we have to wait for the others to return from their respective meetings. Tancred should get some rest in the meantime. Welcome back, Nima. Kral has a private accomplishment. Make some feats to an hour. Pave the way to deal with the rest. While it isn't matched, change your ship. After all, there's nothing like collapsing major. Be it penning a thesis they have formed. So, would you like to take
Take heart and protect them well.
Good,
We'll have
you're
that.
here. You haven't eaten yet, have you? We've bought quite a spread if you're interested. Only the finest dining from the last stand.
This is nice. We get to like actually chill out a bit. Chill out, have a chat. Eat that burger.
Lest you wonder, we invited Estinian as well.
But he didn't want to come?
But he refused with a
Yeah.
rather grim-faced, "No, thank you." I suspect Charlian cuisine is not to his liking.
Oh, I don't know about that. Perhaps our lone wolf just needed some time apart.
What? To perfect his brooding stare? Next time, I'll drag him out by the ear, sit him down in front of a Charlian feast, and see that he eats every last bite.
I'd like to see you try that, Alice.
An excellent idea.
Although he is a bit scared of you after your initial.
Warriors must take proper meals and rest if they are to maintain a healthy constitution.
Poor Estinian, beset on all sides.
Speaking of one's physical condition, Mistress Cryle, I hear you recently played literal host to Heidelin herself.
And what an experience that was. Tiring, yes, but no lasting harm done. If anything, I should have liked to speak with her longer. I've not felt a hint of her presence since.
Heidelin instructed you to carry that flower, yes? Twill be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. And then something about seeking joy in darkness, was it? Come to think of it, isn't that what happened with Nidana back in Radzat-Han?
The flower did seem to radiate a joyful glow, as if reflecting the elation we all felt, the relief of a people with renewed hope.
Indeed, and in turn, I felt buoyed by that radiance. 'Twas akin to spotting a beacon and knowing we were on the right path. I know we've not yet triumphed over the Telophoroi, or learned the full breadth of the Forum's plans. But even within the midst of our struggles, we find small moments of joy to sustain us. Rare and hard-won perhaps, but it is this pursuit of happiness that gives us the strength to carry on day after day. Hey, that's mine.
To the swift the spoils. Though I recall that levitation spell of yours was quick enough.
Only barely. And even at my best, I'm still too slow to wield it effectively in battle. Mayhap I simply require more practice with this new magic.
You unearthed it from the depths of Numenon, I presume?
Aye, and from a veritable mountain of arcane tomes at that. 'Twas necessary to facilitate my solitary explorations.
Or, to put it simply, you used it to sneak around the Forbidden Archives.
Yes, well, after a fashion.
So he was just wandering around levitating about in the archives.
They're tall, you see. The shelves, they're too tall for me. And I could hardly move the library's platforms without attracting attention now, could I?
He's saying he's too small. That why there's that glitch about where if he's following you, he just levitates randomly. Maybe he knew it beforehand.
I'm not that ambitious. But it is pleasant to idle away the hours every once in a while.
Xenos.
Ah! Enjoying the bracing cold, I see. Do you not own a warm coat or a cloak? Something in fur? Or fashioned from the skins of your enemies? Or... well... never mind that. I come to you once more as the bearer of bad news. Our tower in Thavnir has been toppled, and I need not tell you by whom.
They turned down Van Daniel a bit in this expansion.
A single spire is hardly fatal to our plans. It does, however, slow the rate at which we siphon the ether. If they continue to preoccupy themselves with the towers, then all will be well. But should our foe prove bold enough to strike at us here, then the timing becomes... questionable.
Our foe is bold enough. Of that, I can assure you.
Yes, very well then. I suppose I must prepare a proper welcome. Honestly, talk of your nemesis is the only thing you seem to enjoy. Does nothing else spark your interest?
No. All else is... equal. Equally tedious. Equally disappointing. The world is a tepid bog into which we sink, too weak to thrash as the mud clings to our eyes and fills our throats till we blissfully choke. But then came the light, blinding and pure and hot, so very hot, enough to set my soul aflame. I basked in the afterglow until the void yawned once more. And then I knew the muck would never claim me again. There was naught for me ahead, so I drew the curtain on all that had come before. Burn, burn, let the whole star burn. I will have my contest. I will reclaim my moment.
No, you lost against us, mate. And we'll do it again.
How wonderful that the emptiness of death has not dissuaded you from committing your life to its pursuit once more. I don't know whether to envy you or pity you.
You question my disinterest, but what of yours? Despite your noisome antics, I sense you take little pleasure in this endeavor.
Mercy, my lord. Such pointed barbs from one who barely acknowledges my existence. Nevertheless, you are mistaken. For I do find this part somewhat enjoyable. You see, when I was mortal, I would always have the same dream. It was a fragmented thing. Disjointed. All the faces incomplete. The setting too was unknown to me. So I thought it simply a fantasy of my sleeping mind. Until one day, I realized it was showing me the truth. Much as your dream of the final days enlightened you. And soon, very soon, the rest of the world will see the truth of my dream too. Yes, I think that is something we can both enjoy.
Oh, there you are. Feeling refreshed, I hope. About to make my way to the studio. Happens. I want to try and speak with Golark Montagne. Thank him for our rescue. Turns out he'd come to see us following the hearing, only to find that we'd already departed with Bavnet. Knowing him, he was probably hoping to perform his duty. Still waiting for Stola and the others, I thought now the perfect time. The twins will be coming too. Human Alpha Nuds can tear himself away from his new. I'll let you rally the troop while I'll go on ahead. Considering my recent impropriety, perhaps I'll avoid showing my face around the studio. That might be for the best. The others should return. Tell them we will not be long. Out for a stroll. Golark himself was there. In that case, what were you waiting for? I too am eager to come up track to the fort of his. But they say our notoriety proceeds. Alpha Node of poor people worrying over his reputation, and Atar Alman later. Wonders never see. Understand soon enough. Here it is, phenomenon. I expect it made no but before. No one can hardly miss it. This is the first time you've been here. Business, correct? Well, most of the space is taken up by the expansive auditoriums. Also houses numerous laboratories, grounds for experimental, a host of administrative offices, and so forth. Centre of what would later become the studio, established to promote the study of aetherological phenomenon, hence the name. Though with aether being a fundamental aspect of its nature, the scope expanded every life, that's itself. Then, in the 400th year of the 6th astral era, the phenomenon was to complete Fugium officially opened place of learning. Long and storied history, without question, the most leading authority in aetherology, the arcane, the occult, romancy, astromancy, countless other fields, standing proud as Darlian's foremost educational. Voices enjoy giving the grand tour. Indeed, I've long since lost track how many times he has recited that same foppish. Such is his fine love for his old stomping ground. Top form back then, youngest to enter the graduated with highest honours, magical arts and aetherology, undisputed champion of baiting chain. Hold on, you both joined the student. Where I stand, you're equally physicists, scholars. Nice for you to say, but Alphanod actually entered half a year before. Nor did I do well enough to graduate with honours. Certainly not the most notorious and mastered. In all respects, I've never been in shadow. Nothing else, just remember that they the legend of Alphanod. I should expect everyone to be fully aware of our recent escapade. Hopefully you'll be somewhat more welcome here. We're at the last stand. I know better than anyone the inspiration the student body has for Alphanod. Bit of luck, it might work to our advantage. Well, there's no time like the present. First things first, let's look for scholarly monsters. Other faculty tend to frequent their offices. Unfortunately for us, he's fond of wandering wheresoever whims take. Let's split up and ask the students if they've seen it. That was Alphanod's Lavalier, wasn't it? Sister and Master Valdis' granddaughter. Can only mean one thing. An event of book-shattering proportions fast approach. Spread the word. Oh, sorry, you said you for the Scholark, yes. Knowing him anywhere, but Miss Leopold. Leopold? Have a better idea. Are you lost? Wander in off the street. Wait, don't tell me. You're a trainee gleaner fresh off the ship. I'm right, aren't I? Oh, how silly of me. An orientation is an allow me to bid you a warm welcome to Church's meet. Let me start with a question. The most important thing you'll find in the studio. That's right, books. Second most. Well, that's simple. Everything else. That's what we do in here at Searchers Meet. Whenever the students or tutors find themselves in need of equipment, come to us. If we don't have it in our stores, then the gleaners will find it. Honestly, you wouldn't believe some requests we get. Eye of Acer. Good load that. Enough to make your hair stand on end. Possibly what our students are trying to accomplish. This being a school of magic. As our newest gleaner, you'll have to work your work out for you, but I think you'll find it quite rewarding. I beg your pudding. You're not a gleaner, then you're an elaborate ruse? Wait, come to think of it, never actually claimed to be one in the first place. My mistake. He was here, but now he's not. Speak with him shortly before you arrive, though. On his way to make. Go back the way you came in, the opposite side of the end. Laboratory sorts, many rare and expensive curios. not to mention alarmingly frequent accidents. If you lose your way, just follow the blood-curdling. Time it's taken me to tell you all this. Skolok has probably already left. Like finding him, I have a feeling you'll need it. Yes, the Skolok was here a short while ago. He offered me advice on my current. We spoke at length. I don't recall him where he was. Parted ways. Down the corridor, perhaps to one of the auditories.
Remember you?
I pray we have not caught you at an inopportune moment. We wanted to offer our thanks for your kind words in the forum.
Well, I could hardly let that Inquisition go unchallenged. I've always believed that curiosity should be nurtured, not stifled. Thankfully, a majority of my colleagues agreed. A slender majority, aye, but a majority nonetheless.
Had the vote not gone our way, we would be having a very different conversation, if any at all. Though I'd like to think you would have not given up on our cause. I'm told you paid a visit to the Annex afterwards.
Yes, that's right. I was hoping to speak with the grandchildren of my dearly departed friends Galuf and Louisoix in a less dour setting. But it seems I just missed you. I still can't believe how much you've grown. If only your grandsires could have seen the way you presented yourselves to the Forum. Why, it fair brought a tear to my own eye. You must have the patience of a saint, putting up with this lot and their antics. Never mind Matoya's prize student. Luckily, I know a thing or two about managing unruly younglings. If you ever need advice, don't hesitate to ask.
If I may, there is a rather more pressing matter we wish to discuss. What can you tell us of this duty that the Forum must fulfill?
Nothing, I'm afraid. Like all humble servants of the Forum, I am sworn to secrecy. Or rather, I couldn't tell you if I tried. Our duty is of the gravest importance. Furthermore, if the particulars were made public, it would incite widespread panic. As such, those entrusted with this duty have been bound by an enchantment, which prevents us from speaking of such matters without the express permission of the Forum.
How is that even possible?
Bit convenient.
It's been some time since I last gave a lecture. Please, take a seat. We shall begin by reviewing the fundamentals of etherology. The ether, which imbues us with life, can be categorized into 3 forms. 2 are of the incorporeal sort, the soul and the memory. Can anyone tell me the third? Yes, very good. This is the form with which the layman is most familiar. Consumed by even the simplest of daily activities, and replenished by the food and drink that sustain us, this form of ether is in constant flux. In contrast, the ether that comprises the soul is rarely subject to dramatic change. The same can be said for memory, as the two are intrinsically linked. Picture the soul as paper, and memories as words written upon it. Now, what would happen if that paper was doused with ink? The same type of ether as comprises the memories.
It would blot out everything that was written.
Precisely. We would be unable to recall the memories, and any activities that depend upon them would be hindered as well. In fact, this exact phenomenon was observed on a vast scale not so long ago. And what might that have been?
The 7th Umbral Calamity. The people of Eorzea vividly recall Bahamut breaking free of the Lesser Moon and raining hellfire down upon the realm. But no one could seem to remember the events that followed immediately afterwards.
Indeed. To this day, we have yet to determine whether it was an unintended consequence or a deliberate act. The enchantment which binds me and the rest of the Forum is based on a similar principle. And yes, it is a contravention of the Sharlayan prohibition against the practice of memory manipulation. Only when a new member is inducted and told of our great duty are they subjected to the process. A necessary evil. You have my word that it would never be used to manipulate the populace?
I should hope not. But can this enchantment be dispelled and your memories restored?
If 9/10 of our members give their approval, then the process may be reversed. Then, and only then, would we be able to speak freely to others of our sacred duty. Barring that, we must wait until we return to the ethereal sea. For there we will be purified, the blots upon our souls washed clean. And our memories drift apart and dissolve, rather defeating the purpose, I suppose. But there are those memories that are indelibly etched upon our souls, some believe.
What happens after that?
We are reduced to pure ether, coalesce with that of others, and create souls anew. Alternative schools of thought assert souls remain whole and return to the corporeal world, reborn into another form. Both theories have their proponents. Personally, I consider each equally probable. Well, I think that's enough education for today. Now that I've given you some food for thought. Or rather, an entire banquet.
Right, I think I'm gonna go to...
I would remind you that although I'm unable to assist you with certain matters, the resources at my disposal may still be of use to you. I'll arrange for you all to be given the run of Phenomenon. Of course, as associate to our alumni and the students of Baldessian, this privilege is extended to you as well, my friend. Oh, and I suggest you speak with Ki Aliapo. She's well known among the artisans of Sharlayan, and her network of contacts may prove useful in your search for knowledge.
I'm gonna finish. I'm done for the night. So I'll be back on tomorrow. But I'll be able to tell then. Did fall asleep. I'll catch you guys later.